if you haven't seen the previous video from last week, I recommend doing so now before watching this one. I'll have a link in the iCard above as well as the description below. So, again, check that out. In the meantime, here will be some highlights from that video for those of you that have seen it already and want just a little refresher before starting the painting process.
Hi everyone, it's Amber, and today I'm coming back to you all with another sculpting video. I've decided what I'm going to do with it, and that is turn it into Cerberus. Starting right off the bat, the first thing I want to show you guys is my little thought process here. I know he's going to be like a Rottweiler, which is pretty typical. I want him to be both cute, but kind of dark all at the same time. I hate the whole thing. Oh boy, this is a nightmare. I think this is the type of three-headed dog that is a rescue. And, you know, it's a special needs dog, which, you know, that's great. They need love too. They all do. Don't be a disappointment to me. Please. Stay alive. Do not fall apart on me. Why have you forsaken me? There's already cracks happening, and it's the head. It's the one I knew it would be. It's the derpy one.
So, after having it all based and sculpted, I went on and I just started spray painting this whole thing. Also, a little heads up, this entire video is in voiceover because I just got so involved with the painting process that I just didn't even talk while painting. I don't talk while I paint, really. I just focus. But yeah, I used a gray spray primer to like do everything, and then I just went over it with my black and everything. I did like a couple layers. I think it took me at least, I don't know, 2 to 3 layers to get it fully black. Yeah, it was a lot of process. It was a long process of just getting that thing dark. In the end, I think it was really worth it. I wanted the whole thing to just be dark, like I said in my previous video, because I mean, it's the underworld. It's dark. It's grimy. It needs to be pretty much pitch black. I mean, that was the point. After the black had all dried, I then went in to add some little details, starting out with the markings for Cerberus. One thing I did is because I wanted him to look like a Rottweiler. Like I mentioned in my previous video, that was the plan. He was going to have Rottweiler markings and very much similar look to him. I looked at a ton of Rottweiler puppies just to sort of figure out the markings, get the patterns just right. And I think I kind of nailed it. I had to go at least a few more layers with this just so they were like bright enough and like the black didn't show through. You know, anytime you want to do something that's supposed to look like something else, you gotta look up references, and that was what I did. Just looked at a ton of pictures of cute, adorable baby Rottweilers on Pinterest, because, oh man, they're so cute. I love it. I love puppies. I love dogs in general, and all animals, but oh man, puppies are adorable. Especially little wrinkly baby puppies. Which, I mean, Rottweilers aren't that wrinkly babies, but I mean, they're still pretty cute. There's just something about Rottweilers that are adorable. I'm getting off topic. Sorry. I just love puppies so much, and baby animals in general. They're so cute. I also really just like the patterns of a Rottweiler. There's something about that black and gold look that I like it. I like it. It's a really nice pattern for a dog. I think I had a Cocker Spaniel with that kind of look at one point. And here I just sort of went in after having gotten the colors fully like golden looking. I went in there just to sort of like clean the edges up, make it look like it was kind of blending in with the fur a little bit. Because I didn't really make this Cerberus totally textured, but I did want to have like little like markings to make it look like they were blending in, like he did have some fur. And I also went in around his mouth and nose so that it looked like where his whiskers would be, and just to sort of darken up the edges of their mouths. Because most dogs, they'll have like a little bit of black around their mouths and everything. And if you ever look at them, they have that little, almost like mustache whiskery look. I also went and touched up the paw pad, and I wanted to give a little, redefine some more details on the feet in the crevices and whatnot. And I really liked it. It just helped to give some definition to things and just make it a little bit more textured without actually being totally textured. But man, the amount of times I just held my breath and clenched during these really precise get it through the crevice around the mouth and the feet, I was like, oi, don't mess up, stay still. My hand like wanted to shake the entire time because, oh man, it is really hard sometimes to get those really precise lines just right without completely messing up and having to go back and repaint everything with multiple layers again, especially when you're working with dark color against the light one. It's, oh man, it's scary. It is. Anyone who's done that, you'll understand how scary it is to be worried of that you're going to mess it up, because there comes a point where if you layer the paint too much, it starts to have a lot of lumps and bumps, which you don't want, because this is acrylic paint and it's going to layer a lot. And I was so glad that this turned out the way it did and that I didn't mess up too much. So it was a lot of relief, but also a lot of anxiety during the painting process to make it come out just right. And I was using a really tiny brush, so it's like, oh man, I've got to like watch the hairs so much, like keep a really close eye that nothing gets out of place. And it's like, like one of the bristles will like occasionally would pop out of like the perfect symmetry or whatever it is, you know, they'd be so perfect, and then you'd have a stray bristle and it's like, no, that bristle's gonna ruin everything. So it's like, yeah, scared. Just a lot of nerve-wracking, shaky hands, not breathing for like short periods of time, just holding my breath, trying not to mess up. But, you know, it turned out pretty well. It was difficult painting, as I mentioned in my previous video. I kind of regret it, yet also I had mixed feelings about the fact that I glued Cerberus to the stand right away, because sometimes I was like, oh yeah, this is great, but especially when doing the basing, I was so happy to have him glued to the base, but then I was also like, oh man, I can't reach this spot, or how am I going to get there? I can hardly see it. So it was like, it was good, but it was bad. But in the end, you know, it still turned out really good. Here you can see I'm coming in with my white paint, just to sort of get the eyes and the bone. I think I even went and I colored and I painted the skulls and everything, which I did. Yeah, I did. I painted those white as well. This was just because most of these were going to be white. I did think that at some point I'd come in a different color, like an off-white, to sort of make the bones look more bony, which I did do later on. As you can see, I'm not painting the bones like perfectly compared to like the bone in Cerberus's mouth or his eyes. I kind of went really messy because there's so much texture there, and I wanted to leave a lot of it still in shadow, so I just took a really bad brush that's already messed up, and I used it just to sort of lightly cover the bones and the skulls and everything, and it allowed there to be a lot of shadows and different texture. And then here I came in to do the eyes. I decided to go for red eyes because, you know, he's like a demon dog, so he protects the underworld. Why not give him some red eyes? I really actually am glad with that. So like when I did the sculpting, I was really nervous because if you remember from that video, his eyes, the eyes that I made for the other two heads were kind of sunken in instead of like beveled, because I couldn't figure out how to do that. But so I was really like worried that it would be bad, but once I went in there to paint the eyes like fully with the red and then the black for the pupils, and you know, and then adding highlights and everything later on, I was really happy with it because even though the eyes are sunken in, the way I painted it allowed it to sort of look more, it made it so it matched the eyes that were already made previously on the figure that I had kept there. And they actually didn't look too bad when I look at it, and as you'll see, I'm sure you're seeing right now on the screen here, they actually looked like they were popping out a little more depending on the angle you looked at them. And if that makes sense. I'm not very good at describing things, but I think it really helped, and it didn't make them look so sunken in anymore, I guess is the best way to put it. Also, sorry for the amount of times my head pops into the screen. Some of these details, it was really hard to not be right there, face, like, right there, nose almost touching the sculpture, because it was a struggle to get some of those, and when I'm really trying to get paint something really tiny, like little tiny details, I have got to be right there, face to face with that thing, watching it, making sure it's all going in there just right. Oh, and I love my highlighting, except for I really wasn't sure how I was highlighting, which is why the highlights in the main head, the middle heads, is a little weird because they're kind of coming from both directions. That was my thought. I'm still learning highlights, people, so they're a little off, but they're also kind of good. I don't know. I think it's cute though. I like that kind of highlighted look that I was able to achieve with this. It's kind of cartoony, but also not. Oh, and here I tried to highlight the nose, and in the end I decided I didn't care for it too much. I actually just painted over them a little more, and yeah, it was just like, no, I don't like this. These highlighted noses do not work for me. But that's okay. Like, you live and you learn, and sometimes you just gotta try it again. And the tongue, in order to get it a nice pink, first I went with the base white. Probably should have done that when I did all the white, but I didn't think that far ahead. Yeah, and here's another example where you can see it was a little hard for me to get into those little crevice areas. But I took like a pink that I had already made previously by mixing a couple different colors, because I didn't have the exact color in any of my actual paints, so I just had to mix a few to get this kind of, I don't know, tongue pink. I really like this pink. It's really pretty. It's a mix of like white and reds and pinks, and I don't know. It's just such a pretty pink, and it's so perfect for like inner colors, if that makes sense, like tongues and the insides of ears, and I don't know. I think it was such a perfect pink. And here I realized I didn't paint the inner ear, because I was looking at more of those puppy pictures, and I'm like, oh yeah, the inside of their ear is also golden, so I'm like, should probably do that just to make it so it pops a little more and there's a little more definition. because I also was like really like, why this is really dark, and I was thinking about coloring the ears anyways, and I'm like, but I wanted to just sort of see if it was an actual thing, and it was looking at all the pictures. So and then I'm just going again, doing little touch-ups here and there. Oh, this is fun. So for the base, my whole thought with this while I was making it was that Cerberus is sitting on like a little island and there's lava surrounding him. So this is what I'm doing right here, is actually adding the lava. I started out with red, and then I added some orange, and then went in with some yellow, all while turning this on my turntable, which now I'm thinking I need to get a second turntable for specifically display purposes, because now this turntable has become the painting turntable. So, yeah, that's happening. But back to what I was saying here. I went in with red, I went in with orange, and I went in with yellow, and I did this all while it was still wet, in order to get it to blend nicely and look good. After I went in with my paintbrush, as you can see, I start going in with a sponge and just sort of doing the same thing, reds, yellows, and oranges, and then I even went in with a little bit of black with the sponge, just to give it this nice little, like, a lava look. And it was very messy, but it was really fun, because, you know, it's just like, you can see, like, it's like if you ever look at lava and, like, pictures of lava, there's always, like, a little bit of black, like, there's, like, molten rock in there, and that's sort of what I want it here, and I really am happy with it, and I think I managed to achieve that nice lava-ish texture look, and it was really fun. Oh, and here's where I actually go in with my tan color, I believe. Just to sort of, I think it was like linen or something. I don't know. And it really helped just to give it some more color. Or did I go in with my shade? Oh no, I'm going with my dark shades. I guess I didn't do the tan color. Or I did that off camera. I have no idea. But that tan was a very light one. So, yeah, I guess I'm going in with my dark shade here. This is sort of like a wash. It's a dark tone wash, and as you can see, it kind of makes things a little darker. I mentioned these washes before in a previous video, which I will link up above. I also went in with a bit of a red wash on the tongue. I can't remember entirely what I did, but I used dark and red just to sort of make this look better. And I also went over his markings just to make him look a little more like they weren't so vibrant, because everything was really vibrant and I didn't want that. I think here I'm going in with a little bit of like yellow just to highlight a bit. Again, it's been a while since I did this. I finished this, I want to say, beginning of June, and it's middle of July now, roughly. So, yeah, it's been taking a while for me to just actually work on this. Oh yeah, here I am going with highlights, and I ended up hating my highlights, so I had to paint them again. One thing you can see here is I actually grabbed some leather and I cut it, and then I glued it, like I cut it into strips, and then I glued it around the neck. This is to make a collar. I wanted this to kind of represent the fact of what this dog was originally, and having like bow around its neck, so an actual piece of fabric. And I thought like having a nice leather collar would be really cool, and adding studs to it. So while it's black right now, it is hard to see, but I will be coming in here shortly with some adhesive gems in order to give it more of a spiky collar look. I couldn't find actual spikes that would fit right and be the right size, so I went for the next best thing, and I found these, my husband and I found these adhesive gems, and you know, I really like it. It looks pretty cool, not gonna lie, and I think it was just a nice little touch to make it that more awesome and just fun. And I do think it's a good homage to what it was before with the ribbon and everything, just having an actual piece of fabric on there.
I just went to Joann's and bought some chains because I feel like, well, this is great. I still think he needs some chain work. So let's see how this works.
Yeah, so the chains were a last minute thing. I kept looking at it for a couple days and I'm like, he's missing something. And chains were in the initial sketch, but they just never happened right away. So yeah, I was really happy when these chains came on. They made it they were the piece de resistance, I think. I don't know. No, that's probably wrong. They were just like that little bit that made it perfect, you know, and I was so happy with it. But, you know, it took forever for me to actually get them to stick. I was using my glue and my wood glue because that's all I really had at the moment for actual good glue. And man, you could see I was struggling. It was getting on my fingers. Oh man, I had to hold it for a while just so it wouldn't keep sliding. And then I also had to attach it in like a couple different places. But, you know, you can actually like kind of tug on it a little bit and they'll move. There's like, it's kind of an interactive piece where it's like nothing's fully on there. Like it's kind of like, at least with the chains, you can kind of move them a little bit and it's kind of cool. I honestly think the chains were a great thing, and it kind of made it cool with that little pillar in the front, so it's like, you know, he's attached on all three pillars, except he managed to pull one down and break it, so, or like, and it's on the ground now, which, I don't know, kind of cool.
Seriously? I'm in love with him. This thing is as big as my head. I mean, look at this thing. It's so cool. And honestly, I think getting the chains as a last minute thing was so worth it. I mean, they were a struggle to put on, mind you, but definitely worth it in the end. And I think it just gives that little extra bit, and along with that collar, you know, it gives it a little extra. And I like it. It just makes it look finished, and I'm here for it. And he's so cute, minus this derpy head, but you know what? In the end, I think it all ended up looking pretty decent together. I did, however, off camera go and spray all of this about a day or so ago, so it's not going to have any problems. And hopefully that'll keep it from scratching paint off or something. And I did take some gloss Mod Podge that I have had left over from when I did my cups. I'll put a link to that also in the video, in the description below, maybe even at the end. You guys will see it. You guys can go check that out. It's actually really cool. But I took some of that gloss Mod Podge and I just coated the tongue and the eyes just to sort of give it a little bit of a little more glossy look. Oh, and the noses, of course. I don't know how well it is to see. I did take more photos and videos, so you guys will see all of that too. But yeah, I just gotta say, this thing is so cool. I'm all for it. I love it. And honestly, I don't know what else to say. I just love it so much. I am planning on actually selling this piece, though I gotta find time when to do that and get that all set up. As soon as I do put it up for sale, I will let you all know on my social media, which of course you guys can find me on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and Coffee. Links will all be down in the description.
Hey guys! Sorry to interrupt my own video, I guess, but I just want to let you guys know my Cerberus sculpture will be up on my Coffee at the time that this video has been posted. If not the exact time, then at least the day. I'm hoping to have it that day, if not day after, absolute latest. But it will be up. There will be an adorable little Cerberus sticker that goes along with the sculpture if you choose to purchase it, along with several other prints if you want to get something for yourself and the Cerberus sculpture is a little bit too expensive and out of your price range. This is a one sculpture type of thing. There won't be another Cerberus sculpture, at least not like this one. We'll have to see if I make any more sculptures in the future. I might. Just depends on my mood and what I decide to do. So keep that in mind. This is not something I normally do, so it's a very rare thing to get. But if you guys are interested in purchasing any of my art, right now the best place to do that is on my Ko-fi. I have some prints on there, and right now I only have a couple stickers. In the future I might have more things on there. It just depends as how things go and how much feedback I get. But if there's anything that I've made personally that you would like to see me sell, please let me know, because your input is what helps me know what sells. Does that make sense? I don't know. Either way, it helps me to know what it is you guys like, what it is you want, and it also helps support me in making more art and having funds to go and do like bigger things and actually like trying things that I've never tried before. It just really helps. I mean, I have a job, but you know, I have to save too, so helping me out by purchasing some prints or, you know, just supporting me really will go a long way in the long run in making my YouTube videos and my art just that more great. I guess. I don't know. But, you know, do what you want. I mean, even just coming and watching this video and leaving a like helps me too. So, yeah. And, you know, share it. If you really, really like it, share it. Please, by all means, share it. I love it. And, you know, leave some comments. I want some input, guys. So, yeah. Not too much else to say. I'm gonna go give you back to past me, and so I can do a little sign off.
As usual, I hope you guys all have a fun and inspirational week, and I'll catch y'all next time. Bye!